My name's Daniel. I'm the keyboard player in Oyobi. Well, I met Vincent and Adam at the infamous Latin Jam, which used to take place from about 11 p.m. till the early morning in Tatler's in Darlinghurst Road. This is many years ago, and it's only in the last few years that we've kind of reformed in this particular configuration that's now called Oyobi. So when we set up in this configuration with the electronic drums, which was, before we were just mostly playing acoustic instruments, and so we just started jamming and it flowed pretty naturally. We write a lot of the material together. No one's that precious about any particular bit, so we just try until we find something that works. Generally, my approach is I try not to think about it too much. I just play something, and if it works, then I try and develop it. If it doesn't work, we just try something else. And once we have a basic idea, we try and record it whilst it's fresh. And then we think, well, where can we go from here? So that when it comes to creating a full song, we have like some options and some places to go. My approach is that with any keyboard, really, you can manipulate it to sound a bit different to the standard sound. So some of them have onboard effects, or sometimes I plug like a really normal sound, like a Rhodes or something, through a delay and a vibrato, and then what you hear sounds somewhat familiar, but also has something different that differentiates it from, the standard sound. That's something I've always been attracted to, and it's part of recorded music history. Like even going back to 60s and 50s, like people were always experimenting with different recording techniques and how to make a familiar instrument sound unique or different or exciting to listen to. I like happy music and I like all the emotions in music, but I seem to really gravitate to things that feel like there's more to them than the face value. And yeah, I just have always gravitated to that kind of thing. These days, yeah, I would say they're explored too much for effect, and I think the thing that I see is really missing in a lot of music around me is like melancholy, like all the weird in-between emotions. That I think were like a really important part of music, and they still exist, but it's a little harder to find because people are concerned with making an impact as fast as possible, which has its own kind of benefit. But yeah, that seems to be one of the casualties, is some of the subtleties of emotions. I think that sometimes in music, it takes a minute to develop a feeling or a story, and if you're worried about somebody switching off before you've even established something, you're liable to cut out a whole lot of possibilities. So sometimes, I think it's nice as a musician or as an artist to kind of like throw away the often repeated advice of like having to catch people's attention all the time and allowing something to develop. One of the things that attracted me to salsa music when I first heard it is it's dance floor music, but there's like other feelings, like there's often like sadness there, and lost love, all this kind of thing incorporated into dance music, and into a form that is not depressing. That's actually a really cool counterpoint. My first live music experiences were as a young musician playing in salsa bands, and so that idea of like keeping a rhythmic part, being able to be in the background but still try and do something interesting, is relevant to salsa music. So I think we take some of those ideas, but we don't try and play that music because it's also a different aesthetic with what we're doing. Same that applies in music is with art, or with movies, books, and I feel very strongly that it's important for a person through the arts to try and see a little bit more about the human condition, or hear more about it, or feel more about the human condition. And when art can go places like that, it gives you an insight. In everyday life, you've kind of got to always choose the best outcome. So art is a good way to kind of explore like the full spectrum of what being a person is about.